My GF said, I'm too young to waste my best years playing house with you. Maybe when I'm ready to settle down. I said, makes sense. 6 months later, she came back ready, but I'd made sure there was nothing left to come back to. Her name was Rachel. We'd been together for almost 4 years, and when she said that, we weren't fighting. That's what made it worse. We were sitting in the apartment I'd rented for us, eating takeout I'd picked up after work, when she casually explained that being with me felt like she'd skipped straight to being 35. Rachel was 27. Apparently, loyalty had become boring. She wanted clubs, trips, new people, and, as she carefully put it, experiences I can't have while worrying about somebody waiting at home. Then came the part I'll never forget. She touched my hand and said, "You're husband material, Ethan. Just not right now." Husband material. Apparently, I was supposed to sit on a shelf until she finished test driving everybody else. I asked, "So you want to break up?" She hesitated. "I want freedom, but I don't want us to become strangers." Translation, keep the door open. I nodded. Makes sense. She actually smiled. I think she mistook calmness for agreement. That night, Rachel packed 2 suitcases and moved into her friend Madison's apartment. Before leaving, she kissed my cheek. Maybe this is what we need. The second the door closed, I started removing myself from the future she'd assumed would always be waiting. The apartment lease expired in 7 weeks. I didn't renew it. Rachel didn't know because she'd never been on the lease. I moved into a smaller place closer to work, canceled the vacation we planned, separated the few subscriptions we shared, boxed everything she'd left behind, and had Madison collect it. Then I deleted Rachel from every part of my routine. No dramatic blocking spree, no revenge posts, no checking her stories, nothing. For the first few weeks, she occasionally texted, "Hope you're doing okay." Then, "Don't hate me, LOL." Then pictures from bars and weekend trips. I never reacted. After 2 months, the messages stopped, and something unexpected happened. I realized how exhausted I'd been trying to convince someone that stability wasn't a prison. I started seeing friends again, started running every morning, took the promotion I'd previously rejected because it required relocating across the city. Then I met Claire, not dramatically, no movie moment. She worked with a vendor my company used, and after 3 months of casual conversations, she asked if I wanted coffee. With Rachel, I'd always felt like I was auditioning. With Claire, nothing felt forced. Then, exactly 6 months after Rachel left, my phone rang. Rachel. I almost didn't answer. "Ethan?" She sounded nervous. "Hey." She laughed softly. "I've been thinking about us." Of course. She told me she'd gotten the partying out of her system. Dating had been terrible. Her friends were settling down, and she'd finally realized what she'd thrown away. Then she said, "I think I'm ready now." I stared at my phone. "Ready for what?" "For us." She sounded almost offended that I asked. "I thought you'd understand." That's when I realized Rachel genuinely believed those 6 months had been a pause button. I said, "Rachel, you ended our relationship." "I know, but there is no us waiting for you." Silence. Then she asked if she could come over. I gave her my old address. Not intentionally. Pure habit. 20 minutes later, she called again. "Ethan, there's another family living here." "Yeah, I moved 5 months ago." That finally shook her. "You moved. I told you I wasn't renewing." "No, you didn't. You weren't my girlfriend anymore." Another silence. Then she whispered, "Are you seeing someone?" Before I could answer, Claire walked into my kitchen carrying groceries and called, "Ethan, did you still want pasta tonight?" Rachel heard her. Her voice changed instantly. "Who was that?" I smiled. "Someone who didn't need to lose me to decide she wanted me." Rachel started crying. She said she'd made a mistake, that she hadn't expected me to move on so quickly. I almost laughed. 6 months was enough time for her to experience everything she'd wanted. Apparently, it wasn't supposed to be enough time for me to stop waiting. She asked one final question. "So that's it? 4 years mean nothing?" I said. "They meant enough for me not to waste a fifth." Then I hung up. Rachel wanted freedom without consequences. She got exactly half of that deal, because when she finally decided she was ready to settle down, the safe man she'd left on the shelf was gone.